Hey guys, Nate here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite games of the past year in 2014. First we have Bravely Default on the 3DS, and I believe this came out in February of last year. Really solid game. One of my favorite, actually, new RPG franchises in recent years. Did a lot of great things. The battle system was excellent. The job system was a ton of fun. Just spent hours just leveling up everybody's jobs to max. I found a good little grinding technique and killed a lot of time with that. All in all, it's a super solid game, except for the end. Started to drag just a little bit. Started to get quite repetitive, literally. And other than that, though, pretty solid. Looking forward for the sequel. Let's see. Up next, we have Fantasy Life on the 3DS. You might see a little theme going here. This game was not really on my radar until a fellow YouTuber, TVN Lust, made a video about it a couple years back when he took a trip to Japan. Super fun game, right up my alley. I actually convinced my wife to buy it too, and we've been playing it together, which is really cool because we don't get to play a lot of RPGs together because she doesn't like turn-based RPGs, and really most RPGs aren't multiplayer. So the fact that we can play this together and have fun with it, it's been a blast. And I think she's clocked more hours into it than I did, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, level 5 really nailed it. Let's see. Up next we have Dangan Rompa, Trigger Happy Havoc on the Vita. And this game was developed by Spike Chunsoft, who is one of my favorite developers of visual novel games. And this is kind of a visual novel mixed with like a Phoenix Wright sort of gameplay, and then a little bit of like a battle royale storyline with just some crazy Japanese characters, and really a lot of fun. I actually own the second one too, and I've heard it's a lot better, but I've not put much time into it yet because they came out so close together. I just needed kind of a break between them. It felt too soon once the second one came out, so do look forward to getting to that eventually. Let's see. And then next on my list is Shovel Knight on the 3DS, also on the Wii U and PC. And this game is a love letter to old school classic video games, specifically the NES era, and why I love video games today. Takes inspiration from games like DuckTales, Mega Man, Zelda 2, which are 3 of my favorite games / franchises, and really nailed everything about them. And it's a really perfect game. Great music, great level design, fun, tight controls. Really can't sing its praises enough. Yacht Club Games really nailed it with this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next after the DLC for this game. Let's see. Up next we have Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and holy shit, about time Nintendo stepped it up into HD, because this game really shows off how good the Wii U can actually look. This is probably one of the most gorgeous looking games I've ever played, and that's saying a lot since it's just a Mario Kart game. But don't let that devalue the fun that can be had with this game. Especially with the addition of all this DLC this time. What are we getting? 16 tracks by May? So that's in addition to the already 24 that are in the game. That's a hell of a lot of content, and for the price that they asked for the DLC, you really can't complain. Super solid Mario Kart game. Highly recommend it to anybody with a Wii U, but most people that have a Wii U probably already have this, so preaching to the choir here. And up next we have another 3DS game. This is Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. And this game was a ton of fun. I actually bought the first one when it came out a couple years ago, and it surprised me. I knew I would like it probably because I like rhythm games and I love Final Fantasy music, but it was a lot of fun. I poured probably 30, 40 hours into it. And then this one I like even more with the addition of the button controls and the 200 plus songs. Just an insane amount of content in this game. And if you're a fan of Final Fantasy or just video game music or just rhythm games in general, definitely pick this game up. It is amazing, and you will have a ton of hours poured into it. Let's see. Up next on the iPad is Hearthstone. It's making me log into Battle.net because I don't know. Anyway, Hearthstone came out earlier this year. If you don't know, it's a collectible card game on the iPad, PC, and I think Android now, and by Blizzard. And I played World of Warcraft for more years than I care to admit. And so I've always been kind of a fan of Blizzard and the way Blizzard does things. And this game is really no exception. I mean, I'm not even a huge fan of collectible card games, but Blizzard just added their little touch to it, and it makes this game super addictive, super accessible, and just a ton of fun. Really, if you're curious, try it. It's free. I mean, you can pay for extra cards, and I've probably spent $30 or $40 on this game, and no regrets because it's that much fun. I've probably played 40, 50, 60, I don't even know, ton of hours. A ton. Let's see. Alright, and up next we have Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. And this game was a surprise when they announced it because nobody really thought we were going to get another Bayonetta game. And then when Nintendo announced that it was going to be an exclusive to the Wii U, that was another shocker. Platinum nailed it with this game. I actually did not play the first one. I have it on PS3, just never got around to playing it for whatever reason. But from what I've heard, this game is infinitely better than the first one. It just blows it out of the water. And even having not played it, I could probably agree, because this game is one of the most insane, over-the-top action games I've ever played. Bayonetta's character is just fun, and I don't even know how to describe her. She's unique, and definitely a game that if you're a fan of action games or just looking for something to play on the Wii U, definitely pick this up. It's awesome. Then up next we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and this game was kind of a surprise. When Mario 3D World came out last year, I wasn't really a big fan of the Captain Toad levels on it. They were fine on their own, I think, but as like within the context of Mario 3D World, I think they kind of didn't flow, or they kind of killed the flow of the game. But with this game, having them all, you know, as a game for this style of level design, it worked out really well. To be fair, I'm still 2 or 3 levels from finishing this. It just started to get super frustrating towards the end. There's just like the last couple levels are really hard. And maybe I was just having an off night. I haven't gone back to it in like a week, but the first couple, or the first like 2 books, it's divided into 3 books. The first 2 books of the game are pretty easy, and the third one really steps it up and adds a lot of challenge, and I appreciate that, because I'm not a novice to games, so I do like to have a little bit of challenge thrown at me now and then. But every now and then you just like to have something laid back and casual you can just kind of kick back and play. And finally, on the PlayStation Vita, PS4, and PC is the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. So we can get that in there. There we go. And this game, holy shit, it's so much fun. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. I poured 200 plus hours into the original Binding of Isaac on Steam a couple years ago, and been waiting for this game to come out, because I always wanted it on a handheld. Preferred to be on 3DS, but it's just as good on the Vita. And apparently it might still be coming to 3DS, hopefully. I saw some little teasers, and I'll keep my fingers crossed, because I love it, and I'll start the game over again infinite times. Like, it's that much fun. If you don't know, it's a top-down roguelike, kind of in the style of the first Zelda game. You play as a young boy named Isaac, whose mother gets asked by God to kill her son to prove his love to her, to prove her devotion to God. And so she breaks into Isaac's room and with a knife, and he gets scared and runs to the basement, and that's where the game starts. So you're this boy, and you use your tears as projectiles to kill monsters in the basement, and you find items and upgrade your tears to be more powerful or faster, and it's always randomly generated, and you get different items every time, and the synergies between the items can change, and sometimes you'll have a fucking amazing, like, overpowered run, and sometimes you'll just be screwed by the game, but, like, that's the whole fun of it. And I can't sing its praises enough. Like, it's seriously one of the most fun games I've ever played. And if you've never played it, I highly recommend trying it out. It's not for everybody, because it definitely is hard, very hard. But if you have the time to stick with it, and yeah, just play it. It's real good. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, that's my 10, I think that was 10 games. I don't know, probably 10. Yeah, that was 10. Now I'm going to do some honorable mentions because I got a bunch more games I want to talk about. So, up first we got Kirby Triple Deluxe on the 3DS. And this was a pretty solid Kirby game. I'm a big fan of Kirby, always have been. But I prefer his traditional suck up enemies, change into their powers kind of gameplay with Kirby games. And this one was super solid. Great level design, great use of 3D on the 3DS, actually. One of the better uses of 3D, in my opinion. Had a couple fun little mini games in it. But all in all, it was a pretty solid game. I would recommend it if you are into platformers or Kirby in general or anything like that. Okay, up next, I might get a little flack for this, because if you know me at all, you know I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and in my eyes, they really, well, they can do a lot of wrong, because they've proved that time and time again. But as far as their games go, it's usually a pretty safe bet. So with Smash Brothers on the 3DS and the Wii U, I went into it totally expecting this is going to be the Smash Brothers that I get into. I'm going to really get into it, because I've always played the other ones before, but never really got seriously into them, because I never had friends that wanted to play Smash Brothers, really. I mean, not any more than casually every now and then. But the problem is now I'm 32 years old, and I have a daughter on the way, and I just don't have the time to hang out with friends. However, I did go a couple weeks ago before Christmas to a friend's house, and we did a little friend's Secret Santa gift swap, and we played Smash Brothers on the Wii U together, and it was a lot of fun. But without my friends around, I can't get into it. I don't like playing it by myself, even though there's a lot of content, a lot of good single player content. The fun is when you're talking trash and just just playing Smash Brothers with your friends. It's a lot of fun. But hopefully it's something that I can get into at some point. Just now is not the time, unfortunately. And up next we have Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth on the 3DS. And I'm a pretty recent fan into the Persona series. I started with Persona 4 Golden on the Vita when I got my Vita, and instantly fell in love with the characters and the gameplay, and just the style of the game and the music, which was kind of surprising, because I don't really like J-pop style music, and I know it's not all J-pop, but there's just, it's got a distinct style, but it's catchy, and I have to admit it hooked me, and I'm a fan now. This game I have not poured a lot of time into yet. As with most dungeon crawlers, especially the Etrian Odyssey games, if you don't know, Persona Q is basically Etrian Odyssey with a Persona skin and characters on it. But I can only play an Etrian Odyssey game like once every couple years, and I feel like I hit my quota for that already at some point earlier this year with Untold: The Millennium Girl. So this game I really want to get into, but the story hasn't grabbed me yet, and I don't know that it's going to. I hear it's kind of just like a weak story, but the characters are going to keep me going back to it, so hopefully I will get back into that once I need to scratch that dungeon crawling itch a little bit more. And finally, on the 3DS and the Wii U is NES Remix Pack and NES Remix Ultimate NES Remix. And I'm not sure whether or not the first NES Remix came out in 2013 or 2014. I think it was the end of last year, or 2013. And then NES Remix 2 came out at the beginning of 2014. Either way, both of these were really solid games. If you're into NES games or retro games or just have any curiosity about gaming and from that era, this is definitely a good way to get your feet wet. I do wish there was a little more of the remix levels in these games. There's a lot of challenges from different NES games, and those are fun, but I've played those games a zillion times already, so it's nice to have the remix levels just kind of change things up a little bit and kind of keep it interesting. But all in all, super solid games. Highly recommended if you are into retro games or the NES or just want something fun to play. Anyways, guys, that wraps it up for my favorite games of this year. I'd like to know what your favorite games are, so if you want to leave down in the comments below what you liked this year or this past year, just let me know. And this was my first video, so hopefully it wasn't too boring, and hopefully you guys look forward to more. So if you liked it, please subscribe and please comment below. And until next time, keep rocking on the fucking... What am I even doing? Keep rocking on the fucking... Nope. That's not how we're going to end this video. Nope. I don't even... Should I just hit stop?